Hi, welcome back to the Free Swatches channel. And to get straight to the point, as you've seen by the thumbnail, I bought a bit of a dog. So the situation is that I've been trying to get this Rolex challenge moved on. Got up to the point where I had £1,500. We sold the Omega Chronograph in the last video. That all went really well. I was really pleased with that watch, and it was nice to be able to sell it in a straightforward manner. So I get the money, and I'm looking on eBay, and I see a watch up for sale. And it's this IWC Chronograph, I think. Lovely watch. This is a high-end watch. We're into some really nice watches now. It'd be an interesting watch to feature on a video and so on. Thing was, it was on eBay. I had about 5 minutes to make the decision. So I went on there and I put a bid in for what I thought it was worth, and I won it. The watch has turned up and it's a complete dog. There's no point in waiting for some drama or something, or making something of it, or opening a box, unboxing it, showing you the watch. None of that. The watch is a dog, and in this video today, I'm going to tell you why it's a dog. So in a second, we're going to go over to the bench and have a look, and we'll find out exactly what I've done and why I've made such a big mistake. Okay, so here's the watch. It's an IWC Mecha Quartz. So this particular movement has a quartz part and a mechanical part for the chronograph, which you'll see in a minute when I take the back off. And I hope you can see why I was attracted to the watch. It is actually a very appealing watch. It's obviously an IWC, which is a really great brand. It's in good condition. It's got lovely dial on hands. Everything's nice about it. And it was just listed as not working. And there's a photograph of the movements with the battery clamp missing. So I thought, right, so it's probably just going to be the battery clamp. I can hopefully get it working. But the problems run a bit deeper than that. So in a moment, we're going to take the back off and show you. But just to complete showing you the watch, I'll just turn it round. You can see here's the back. It's got its number down there, and it's a screw back. It's got 4 screws holding it on, and the watch has come with a nice stainless steel bracelet as well, which you can probably see in the corner of the shop. So yeah, I was quite optimistic about this, thinking it's a really nice watch, and also the interesting movement will be great to feature on the channel. But as I mentioned, we're not looking particularly good. So let's have a look inside, and I'll show you what the problems are. Okay, right, I'm ready to take the back off now. So I'm just going to undo these screws. And we're going to have a look at the movements. So the back is held on with these 5 screws. So I'm just going to undo those, and we're going to have a look. This is not an unusual way of securing a back on the higher end watch. You do see this quite a bit, and it's actually for a watchmaker it's a bit of a nuisance, because obviously a screw down back is a much easier thing to deal with, because you haven't got the screws to worry about. And it's a much better seal. But there we are. Luxury watches for you. Right, so there we go. That's the screws out. So excuse the noise, I'm just getting some tweezers so we can remove those screws. There's 1, 2. Okay, so the screws have been removed, and I'll take that off to reveal our movement. So here it is. It's certainly a very interesting movement, and I mean, that was the reason I bought it, really. I thought that would be a great thing to show you, but obviously there are some problems with it. So what you'll see here, you can see a quartz circuit. Now, the difference between a quartz and mechanical watch, without going into long, laborious details, is that obviously the power comes from a battery rather than springs. The battery would be going in here. And then the circuit produces an electronic impulse which breaks a magnetic field and causes a magnetic wheel to turn round. And as that wheel turns round, the wheels move, and then the watch starts to work. So that's the very kind of basic version of how the quartz movement works. So that's what's going on here with this black piece. This is the circuit. So that is a problem, and I'll get into that in a moment. On the other side of the movement, however, you'll see we've got some mechanical parts here. Now, what you actually have is a cam-based chronograph. So this is mechanical. So when you start, stop, and reset, the chronograph is started, stopped, and reset mechanically using this mechanism here. It's described as a mecha quartz, but really none of the actual movement is mechanical, in the sense that even when the chronograph is started, that movement from the chronograph is generated by the battery side of the movement. So the only mechanical part really is that it starts and stops and resets the chronograph mechanically. But there is something to it, I suppose, and they have gone up, they have tried to make the movement look nice with some Geneva stripes and so on. So this is the IWC movement, as it's described here, but it is in fact a movement that's manufactured by Jaeger-LeCoultre. and Jaeger-LeCoultre called it the 930 caliber. So they used it in a lot of their watches, and obviously in the IWC watch as well. But as is typical with high-end watches, the parts are always quite difficult to get. And when I've got to look at this watch to see what the problem was, I noticed first of all that this circuit board here, this comes to a contact here. And the contact then follows a track on the circuit board around this part here onto the components. So you've got a trimmer here, and you've got a IC, which is a chip that generates the information required for the watch to work, for the timekeeping to be regulated. And following the track round, there's actually a crack just here. So when I took the circuit off, I noticed that the coil underneath was damaged. There are two little contacts here where the coil, that is a coil of wire that attaches in two places. One of the ends had come away from this contact here. So I've had a look at that, but it's beyond repair. Sometimes you can unwind the coil and stick it back on. Not in this case, there's no way of doing it. So what we need for this watch is a circuit and a coil. And the problem is that these parts are just unobtainable. You can't get them anywhere. So this is why I've decided that I think what we're going to need to do with this watch is to send it off to IWC and see how we get it on in terms of getting a repair. And hopefully they'll be able to tell us what the situation is. The only downside for this is that it does tend to take rather a long time. So it's going to be quite a while, I imagine, before we see this watch again. It is a shame though, because as I mentioned earlier, I think it is a really nice watch. It's very good quality. It's got a very nicely proportioned case. The dial and hands are really nice. It's got the sapphire, which is AR coated. And also, if I was to just move this out of the way and bring the bracelet in to show, it has got a very nice bracelet. This is, very nicely made. It is certainly a step up from some of the watches that you see in, the average sort of price bracket of up to £1,000. It's definitely got that sort of bit of luxury about it. So, bit of a shame, but there we go. So, this project is likely to take quite a long time. So we're just going to have to be patient with this one, and hopefully before too long, I'll have some news for you. I hope you found that interesting. If nothing else, hopefully you'll be able to sort of see the mistakes I've made and maybe think about that for the future. So the plan moving forward is this. I'm going to send that watch to IWC. I've exhausted all of my sort of trade contacts in terms of trying to find someone who can help me, who might be able to repair it, get the parts. I can't find the parts anywhere. So I'm going to get a quote from IWC, and we're going to see exactly what it's going to cost to repair it through the manufacturer. Because of what I paid for the watch, as long as the repair's within £1,000, I think I can probably do it. So our next video is going to show us, hopefully, exactly what I've got to with that. But in the meantime, I have got a bit of money spare, because I paid just over £1,200 to the IWC Chronograph. That's left a little bit left in the pot. So in the meantime, I will be looking for another project, a bit like starting again, really, just finding a cheaper watch. It'd be great if it's got an Omega on the dial, as that's always a favourite of mine. It won't be so great if it says IWC Mega Quartz, of course, so I don't think I'll be going there again. So we'll see what comes up for the future, but there is going to be some more content coming soon. So in the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, then you'll know when we make the next video. And I look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye for now.